Welcome, tarot lovers and tarot curious. Today, we're going to discuss how the Fool has left the healing and light of the star. And now, the Fool meets the Moon, a whole other energy. What a curious card this is. There are no people here. This is card 18 of the Major Arcana. And in numerology, you add the 1 and the 8 to make 9, which means it is the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. So if you think of the star as the culmination of one cycle of events, then you can think of this card in a way as a new beginning. And it has a rebirth to it related to the moon's cycle. The moon is reborn every 28 days, and it gives birth to a fullness and cycles back again with an ebb and a flow of light in the night sky. Before I forget, I want to remind you that when you come to a place where you want to write a response to a journal prompt, or you want to sketch and doodle on a piece of scratch paper some ideas or images for your own tarot card design, please stop the video and do so. I will eventually add time codes that can serve as chapters to this video. Use this tutorial in a way that best serves your personal learning style. The moon gives off a reflection of the sun's light. The pale light reflection is connected to the emotional sensitivity and dreamy spiritual Pisces energy from the zodiac. The two fish swim in waters of feelings and images without words. They're seeking spiritual connection and intuitive perception through the always changing waters of time. Neptune is the planet of Pisces, and its energy also influences the moon, with a focus on imagination, creativity, dreams, and illusion. Neptune energy is also associated with the meditative energy of the hanged man, hanging rather uncomfortably and yet acceptingly, looking to see things from a totally different perspective. Because this is the moon's energy, it's also a direct connection to the High Priestess. The High Priestess is moon energy and is another dreamy spiritual energy. Both the High Priestess and the Hanged Man are cards that I discussed in other videos if you're interested. Take a good look at this card and jot down what you see as well as your feelings about it. Art activity. Doodle on some scratch paper and allow your mind to flow. Allow images of your own moon ideas to connect with the energy emerging from this card. Set these drawings aside and come back to look at them later and see what your unconscious mind brought up. Journal prompt. Think about the moon. focus on what you understand about the moon. Moonlight, moon gravity, and how it affects the earth, and the connection between the moon, the oceans on earth, its relationship to the sun. Now think about the moon card I'm holding. Imagine a human figure in this card. If you would add a person to this card, where would it be? What would it be doing? How would that relate to your idea of moon energy? Once you have thought this through, ask yourself, what aspect of your story about a human visit to this card relates to your own personal life story? The moon illustrates the unconscious mind. Our bodies contain information our ego does not want to face or assimilate. If we have had trauma, those pieces of ourselves are stored in places in our bodies like time capsules that activate with triggers. Water in the foreground represents the mysterious unknown that our mind suppresses, the unconscious. The crayfish symbolizes our growing consciousness as we move from unconscious to knowing. Then we face our fears as represented by the howling wolf of our untamed nature and that of the dog barking from our domestic lives. Before us, the path. It is the path we struggle to face in our lives. In the dark, up the hill, and over the mountaintop. It will not be an easy climb. If you notice the 2 pillars of Hermes we must pass, they are also represented in the death card. In the corner to your right, I think, you will see 2 little pillars in the distance. Those are the pillars of Hermes. And the character of Hermes is featured in the Wheel of the Fortune as the reddish underlying creature coming up the wheel. And both of those are discussed in the videos about death and the videos about the Wheel of Fortune. Hermes is a spiritual guide for travelers. And the path leads us out of the waters of the unknown, where we may travel in order to face these fears, knowing we do not know everything. And we must therefore both trust our physical senses as well as our intuitive senses, while also accepting we will always be challenged and confused by the twists and turns of life. If we mindfully set the fear of the knowledge of the unknown, aside, we can be in the present moment. We can meditate and learn to use our intuition to help us. That is where the power of the moon resides. The moon points to our vulnerable parts of ourselves, things we don't want to face, things we don't understand, and things that make no sense at all. The moon shows us that we are creatures that have evolved, and yet we're still very much like our animal brethren who are crawling from confused dreams into consciousness like the crayfish, who are vying for identity within nature and within community like the wolf, and who are willing to learn and work in order to thrive like a dog. Yet We need to be uncomfortable with the unknown and explore it rather than fear it. To be comfortable with the unknown and the confusing is to be ready to grow and learn and broaden our world. Journal prompt. Recount and write about a time in your life story when you took a risk with the unknown and learned a very important lesson that continues to guide you today. We are required to travel our precious journey of our own soul on our own. No one's doing it for us. If you have yet to work on a strong personal identity, this exercise will help to think about your preferences. Start to define your personal history, your unique story, the saga of your travels and aha moments, your sense of self, defining your value, what you value about your existence, defining what you choose to stand for, and what you are open to evolving into. These are all valuable considerations for your soul's path. Write about what resonates with you. Once you have defined things about yourself and about your awareness and about what resonates with you, it is time to challenge them. Mystery, the unknown, and confusion bring personal growth. The uneasy feeling that comes from trying to take a walk in the moonlight and seeing boogeymen in the shadows helps us reevaluate what we thought we had defined. Our ego usually does not care for these uncomfortable types of exercises or risks, but pushing forward is how we grow. Art activity. Doodle on some scratch paper and allow your mind to flow. With this expanded understanding of the mysteries of the moon, allow images to emerge for developing your own moon tarot card. Set these drawings aside and come back to look at them later and see what your unconscious mind has brought up. Journal prompt. Think of the symbols and the evolution of the crayfish, the wolf, and the dog. How do you see your own consciousness, fears, and challenges relate to the expression of these three creatures? What strengths do you see in your own identity? Look at your life story. Think about how you have created a new understanding and personal breakthroughs when faced with mysteries, when faced with illusions or confusion. Think back to the person you imagined in the moon card in the beginning. Does it still resonate to keep that person in the same place you imagined it to begin with? Or have you mentally moved on and put it in another place in this card? In a tarot reading, the moon card connects to dreams, illusions, and spiritual intuition. It is said that the road out of the moon card, do you see it going up the hill between the two pillars? That connects to the High Priestess. Let's bring her back again. Because she is moon energy. The moon never gives a definitive answer, but it asks you to wait. or to go forward in mystery and confusion, because it is a time to grow. In relationship readings, it can mean there is currently only illusion and nothing of substance. In a career reading, it can mean there are many possible outcomes at this stage. In a spiritual reading, it gives the energy of accepting what you do not know yet in order to get clarity as new understanding develops. Without the action of the moon, we would have no tides. Our weather would be different. Women would not ovulate every 28 days. Life would have a more stagnant quality. We might not even have evolved to what we are. Who knows? The action of the moon card is to create a mysterious and confusing puzzle for us to solve so that we may grow. It is a way of forcing some kind of action in a new way, just as the hanged man does from his upside down position, looking at things from another direction. The moon does it through confusion, while the hanged man does it from looking at things differently. So we've covered a lot of ground with this mysterious moon card. I want you to contemplate and honor the parts of you that are being pushed forward through all the ambiguity the moon provides. Let's contemplate this and honor your journey. Take a moment now and sit quietly in your chair. And feel the weight of your body as you rest in your seat. Plant your feet on the floor or the ground or the carpet. Take some long, slow, cleansing breaths. Pull in the energy of the moon and think back to aspects of this card that most resonated with you. Feel the energy of the unknown and the mysterious. Feel a desire to accept that not all will make sense, and connect to your soul's path with a willingness to grow through your dreams, your illusions, and confusion, and feed all these possibilities with your authentic self. Trust yourself that you have the ability to explore the unexplored. You may rock your boat of knowledge into a river of greater understanding. Feel it awaken in your spirit, your mind, and your body. Breathing out what no longer serves you. After some cleansing breaths, just sit and thank yourself for this practice of connecting to the moon and following the Fool on his journey. As you quietly come back to your awareness, consider the expansion these tarot cards are providing as you reconnect with your own empowering life story. I hope you enjoy unleashing the mind. with creative ideas for your own moon card. So the Fool now will be leaving the moon, and next week we'll be meeting the Sun. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening. Blessed be. Thank you so much. Namaste.